Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm just coming to you with another upgrade and really wanting to be able to help you elevate yourself into your most empowered being, your mogul self, creating the reality you intend, experiencing your ultimate trajectory, your highest destiny. And one of the ways I'm doing that is to bring a internal family systems self session to you that I am doing on myself in order to upgrade myself. And as someone who is constantly upgrading myself, as one of the ways that I serve the world to go into a higher level of me and help my clients and help them go into their highest level and their highest reality and destiny, I am now bringing the self sessions to you so you can see what an internal family system self session is in the way that I do it. That way, something that is such an amazing methodology, which is its own thing, internal family systems is just an incredible method. It's a great organization you can check out. And then I have taken and have been adapting that method to do my self sessions on myself. And I've just come to a great point in my career where after years of doing transformations, behind closed doors with clients and on my own self, I am just someone that's just willing at this point to do transformation in a very upgraded way, out of the box way. And I just think, for years I would do transformations on myself and then just be like, I really wish that, that I was like plugged into some machine where people could see this, experience this. Um, and eventually just started to recognize like, I don't have to be an in the box psychologist, success coach, author, speaker, all of that stuff. I can really do what's intuitive to me and bring transformation to people just by doing it on myself, bringing you along for the ride, showing you what an internal family system self session looks like for me, and ideally change some lives, which is what my intention is around it. And this is a really important thing that I started to do on myself more and more, given that I came to understand that while I had been experiencing a lot of success in my life and I was living a very, very fortunate life, 100% completely aligned with my purpose, living that out as the ultimate faith journey for me, trusting it on every level, I realized that there were parts of me in this internal family that we all have inside of us that were really high functioning. They were creating lots of success. And ultimately, as I would move through different echelons of success, having, again, coached a lot of people, coached like in different programs with private programs with ultra high net worth people, building a coaching team, a coaching company, um, creating best-selling books, authoring a Wall Street Journal bestseller, doing a TED Talk, doing all these things. Um, and really, in so many ways, living out what really felt like my destiny as a person. The truth is, I also came to understand that at certain echelons of success, where certain aspects of your being could get you to a certain level and get you like maybe to the top of a certain echelon, I realized that when I would enter into new echelons where you're like on the floor of that echelon and now you need to rise within it, that certain aspects of me were building success on what I came to now understand as traumatized parts of myself that had created their own roles, their own coping mechanisms, their own methods, and they were functioning. But those old methodologies could only work to get me to success at a certain level. And that would have been fine if I just wanted to live out the life that I had and just be like, oh, this is all there is, because it was really awesome it was a level of success that you're just like, you feel I felt very valued by my team. I felt valued by my clients on so many levels. And I felt like I was, I was having this sense of like, this is what makes sense to me for the value and the transformational results I'm bringing to people. This is what I'm receiving. But I also was suffering a lot inside. And I wasn't fully admitting that to myself. And I was just coming to a level of understanding where I kept trying to push for success. And while I was constantly transforming every single day, I had to come to recognize a few things were happening. And one thing was that the same self that had built me to a certain level of success, which was really beyond most of the peer group that I grew up with and my family members, that same self could not get me to the other levels of success. And again, I didn't really care about that. Be like, I need to be so much more successful. I could have just literally just lived on that level of success for the rest of my life. And a lot of people would. But growth is my faith. Growth is literally life to me. And if I wasn't growing and flowing in a new level and adapting to that level, I just was like, it's like death to me to stay in the same place, to stay at the same level, to stay at the same level of awareness and consciousness. And I came to realize like this version of me can only take me so far. And in that way, if I fail in my mission here on earth that I was brought in to do, that's a pretty big that's like a multi-million person impact that I'm failing to do. And I just couldn't have that. I also realized, and this was the hardest thing of all, that while I would create all of this success and every day I was just like pushing for the success and just expanding and growing and exponentially being able to create, I would then be interacting with certain people in my life, and my partner at the time, which we're no longer together, was one of them. And some family members were others, and even some people from my, early days of my life that I've really, I've loved these people my whole life. I came to recognize that I was in a massive fast paced growth rate on a daily basis, transforming and transforming and transforming and helping other people transform. So just transformation central, just exponential transformation. And that'd be like during the day. And then in the evening, I'd be talking to my ex and interacting. And this guy had like literally zero interest in growth as a person. That was not, it was just not a priority at that stage of his life. That's the best way I can say it right now. I also had to come to recognize that different people in my family, as everyone's does, has their own priorities. And I was not surrounded by really anyone who was like, I want to grow as a person at the level that I do. And so I want to respect and appreciate everyone for what it is their priorities are. But what that did to me was it required me, even though I would be transforming every single day and transforming people and literally being connected to the 5-dimensional multiverse and receiving growth content constantly and wanting to pass it along, because the people that were in my earliest days of my life, which we all tend to like bring, we tend to bring along with us in our life. These are our closest relations and the people that were there from the beginning. I would try to be myself and I would try to speak my truth. And quite honestly, these people, talk about powerful people, they were just exceptional at shutting that down, shutting me down, disregarding what I was saying, because we were just on two different realities. We were just in completely different wavelengths. We were in completely different universes. And I can appreciate that. Somebody's over here running a furniture business and what that entails. And I'm over here running a massive transformational, multi-dimensional reality field for people, a container for people to transform in, that is based entirely in a field of pure intentionality. And my team and I are like living in that, growing in that. And then I'm trying to interact with people where this is just not their world, and nor do they want it to be. And I had to just get like come to understand. And no matter how many bestsellers I write, TED Talks I do, no matter how much success I am creating, and the rest of the world was saying, we value this, they were just not having it. They were not interested. So what that meant is they would shut me down. I don't think they really realize this, but I can now talk about it, which is great. I can say whatever I want. I'm not beholden to be a different version of myself anymore. But they would shut that down. They would kind of ignore what I would say. They kind of disregard it, change the subject. We've all been there. And then I just had to realize, because I was at a certain stage of life where like, am I going to keep doing this? I was just living in a different version of myself. I would like be on this massive high of transformation, and then I would go down this frequency, down into this like version of myself that they were just all epic at getting me to do. And we were just playing. This is what I'd done my whole life since I was little. They got me to do that since the time I was little. They shut down my feelings. They shut down my needs. They shut down. They rejected, dejected, neglected it, and were really quite phenomenal at not wanting to have anything to do with my truth, who I really was am as a person, my feelings, what I might like in our family, what might be healthy for me as a family member. Um, no one in my immediate or extended family had any interest in this whatsoever. Um, and I want to respect and appreciate everybody for how they want it to be. But I just had to come to understand, and this all relates to internal family systems and self in this self session. I had to come to understand that to be growing at the pace that I was growing, and then be like, on that in that reality, and be the real me, and then try to interact with the people that I was supposedly supposed to be closest to, and then have myself be sort of compressed into this inauthentic performative version of me, was really traumatizing me. It was hurting, it was injuring me, it was undignified, it was kind of horrific, and it was totally traumatizing to me. I was afraid to try to be me, because it would meet with such rejection. And all I wanted was to be close to these people that I'm supposed to be close to. So I would just contort myself into some acceptable version to them. And you'd think that that would do something. And while it sort of did what I try to do my whole life, was like to keep the peace and keep people from screaming and yelling and violently going off on me, as occurred in my upbringing. Um, You'd think, oh, maybe that'll work and I'll receive love from that. But it didn't really work. It's not like contorting myself into some inauthentic me actually got me more love. It just kind of kept the peace a little bit. But what it was doing was it was killing me as a person. It was hurting me. I would live way high up in a frequency that is like flow state and all of this. And then I'd go to interact at night with my ex-partner or someone else in my family system at some point, or also just kind of, just some people in my life that were not on that wavelength. God bless everybody. Permission to be you. It's not for me to say. And it would just turn me, I would be on this up here, and then I would go way down here. So I could interact with you in this low frequency. So instead of staying up and being in a high frequency and letting the momentum just keep going and going and going, where it's like all these great things where it's like I'm working with high net worth clients, and it's celebrities are coming in, and a Real Housewives, and opportunities, and somebody wants to make a reality show, and I'm like on all these high things, which they weren't necessarily feeling high to me. They were feeling like this is where this is me. This is where I live. I live in a constant state of transformation and intentionality and purpose and flow. And then I would just be willing to drop all the way down. And then I'd end up in these very strange conversations where it's like I just would get shut down, negated, and then I would just conform to it. And then that would start a process of the things that were all working really well starting to then get dysfunctional. And it took me a long time to learn, like, I can't go up and then down. I can't be up and then drop way far down to be in a relationship with somebody that wants to speak down here in small talk and no ability for us, at least, to connect because we're in such completely different realities. And again, I want everybody to live whatever they want to live. I just am responsible for my own well-being. And I had to recognize that this was holding me back. It was traumatizing me. And that all the parts of myself that had been coping through that were like running out of steam. They were running out of road. And coping mechanisms that are trauma responses that get formed when we're younger, and then to deal with our family of origin and those technically for most people dysfunctional family systems that are often built on suppression and authenticity and a whole bunch of stuff, because the minority of the population operates on a high frequency. That's why I help people do that so they can be there. And I just had to come to understand and start to do the work on myself that I couldn't just keep pushing my business forward and upward without addressing the internal family system, the trauma of being in this duality of experiences between my real self and the people that I loved and who they were trying to make me be, and my actual self. And that person's like I can't help it. She's going to keep emerging. And I had to start to tend to the parts of me that got injured trying to belong to my family of origin, because all I ever wanted my entire life, and I can say this now without it crushing my soul because I've done a lot of trauma healing, all I ever wanted was to grow to my highest level, make the contribution that God brought me into this world to make, live out that role that I was created to do wholeheartedly, no B plan. And I wanted to do it with my family, which I believe to this day we were created to do it together. And having done all of our human design charts, I can see exactly what we were created to be. We were created to be an amazing transformational dynasty. And that's just not, it's not what happened, but it was not for lack of me trying, because I literally did a master class in being a good person and transforming. And while I had some difficult moments occasionally, very rarely, that I would get like rejected for, all I ever did was devote myself to my family, in order that, and I held out hope most of my life that we could flow and grow together, and that we could really be a unit, and we could be a transformational family, and we could be a inspirational family. That's all I ever wanted us to be. And I realize now as I say that that's a lot to ask of people who have their own unique journeys and destinies. And yet in the dream that I had for that, which also, like, which also made it so that while I was creating all of that type of success for my clients, which is very true, I was getting to work with people who have actually gotten to receive our coaching and live out that dream and are living that out. And just come to recognize it's not what my family members really wanted with me. Uh, I just had to come to recognize that it was time to do some deeper trauma healing on me so that as I went for the next level of consciousness, which then just brings your business to the next echelon and allows you to do it without crushingly hard work because you're doing it from a healed foundational high frequency place, not doing it from like a traumatized inner child self that is like trying to prove to mom and dad and your relatives that you're valuable and worthy, and like maybe if I do enough you will love me for me. I had to start to change that and start to address the internal parts of me that needed a transformation themselves versus just the whole self transforming other people. And this is really good because the reason the entire transformational process has ever worked with our clientele is because we're not just focusing on this part, their health, their mental health or their business. We're focusing on their entire self and the reality that self can create. And when people want to create amazing, unique, personal, personally, their dreams and their desires for their own version of an empire, a dynasty, being that mogul of reality that is inspirational and influential and empowered and wealthy and healthy and leaving a legacy. If we were just working on their leadership of their company, but we were not working on their internal family and their authenticity and the intentionality and purpose, same thing would happen to them. So here I was doing this for them, and it was like, oh, it's time to do it for me. So this was a real deep piece of work because I had to go in and begin to change. I first attempted to work externally with my family members to let them know what was happening to me and that I was no longer able to live as an inauthentic version of myself, and that I really wanted to face up to things that I needed to heal in our relationships, that I needed support in that healing, that I wanted to collaborate in, and I really wanted to create something new and healthy with each of them and the whole. And I went toward the external family to be like, let's grow in a better way, because that I knew was the way like that I believed that was the way that I could do the best for everyone in this world and be a better version of myself. And when that got wholeheartedly, and if I can keep it 100% real, violently rejected, and nobody wanted a piece of my authentic self whatsoever, nothing new for me, I then needed to connect to deeper transformational methodologies in order to heal without those collaborations and transform myself, knowing that I've got to live my highest purpose, and it's much, much bigger than just my immediate family, and that it means the whole of humanity, which is my family, which are my brothers and sisters. I mean, this is who we are to each other. This is who we are right here. I never believed that my immediate relations were my family. I've always seen all of my brothers and sisters in the world, and I have been suffering for their suffering. And the feeling of powerlessness was unacceptable to me, that I would feel it, that they would feel it, that you would feel it. And all I wanted to do was bring people into the powerful feelings that I could often feel and the things that I could do and the beauty of that and help people feel empowered. So, as I always have done, I decided to be willing to do the transformation on myself, to reveal more of it, even if I look ridiculous or embarrass myself. I decided just to keep following the divine directions that I receive and go deeper into healing traumas that at a certain point I never even realized were there. And that brought me to more and more internal family systems. And then being able to do as much of it on myself as I want to do, not just waiting all the time for the appointments and stuff with the practitioners. Do it for clients and do as much of it at the pace that I wanted to do. So I began to do these self sessions, and I have done a certain amount of them, and now I've been recording them, and they have been really phenomenal for me. And I just want to say in advance as I go into this one that I never know what's going to come up. I just know that I'm called to do them. I am not here claiming to be some great production person creating the perfect videos, the perfect timing. I'm not here performing. I'm only here letting you in on the inside of my transformation, which is quite a vulnerable thing. I'm very proud of myself to do that and risk whatever might come with that because I think you're all worth it and you deserve to know, how does transformation work in the trenches? Because for so many years, I have seen all of these amazing, influential people tell us about, from the top of the mountain, how they got there. And then we're supposed to try to piece it together. And I just felt that we all deserve to know more of what it's like in the trenches of transformation. And that's what I want to see. And I thought, well, let me be the change that I want to see in the world. And in a lot of ways, I wish I was very into video editing and production and all that and could make these videos so perfect for you. But I don't think that I would be doing what is absolutely better for all of us, which is to do the process in a real and raw way. Trust that you'll watch to whatever extent you want to watch it. I recognize that some of these can be shorter, some of them can be longer. We all have been unfortunately programmed with an attention span of 10 to 15 seconds. And this is a longer experience to go through. And it's not happening a mile a minute. It's not overstimulating. It's a much deeper, soulful, spiritual, human process in what unfolds. And as it unfolds, I am taking the skill set that I have and going with what is coming up. A few last things before we get going. Internal family systems, you can read all about it. Go ahead and Google it. Is all about recognizing there are parts of ourselves. Some of them are exiles, where we have gotten injuries and we've been told to just suck it up and go on. And sometimes that's what we have to do. We are in a rugged individualist society that just says, move the fuck on. And we tend to not heal. But what happens when we have emotional injuries, which are just as real as breaking your arm, is those injuries live inside of us. They live in our bodies. And if they're significant enough, they will create actual personalities and parts of ourselves that emerge in order to cope with this pain and have some sort of a strategy or a role and a personality that tries to manage it. We can either have our exiled parts that are the most tender, sensitive, injured parts that are there and work with them. We also have protectors, which are typically managers. Two types. Managers are like trying to run our life and make it perfect so we don't get hurt anymore. And firefighters are the ones that tell us go eat, go drink, go do something to distract yourself from the pain and difficulty and the discomfort of reality and being triggered. And then they come in and they're just like, go eat a freaking box of donuts because the pain is too great. And they're just trying to get you out of the pain. I have in my life experienced so much trauma that when I recently did some ayahuasca journeys, and I was deep in the ayahuasca process where it was showing me, night one, it showed me my trauma because it's a progressive process with ayahuasca. You can watch that video if you want. It's in my content. But it showed me that I had well over 1,000 emotional injuries, and it revealed them as like different cuts and gashes and things in my body that I did not know were existing that way. And on night one of the ayahuasca, it showed this to me. And it was not the time to do anything about it. But as the progressive days went forward of doing more ayahuasca, it kept showing me how to actually heal these things. But what I saw is I had over 1,000 emotional injuries that I could somewhat, that it revealed it to me. They were all over my body as if I had been beat to hell and stabbed and crushed. I was in awe. My body was in searing pain. I could not believe it, and I could believe it. And fortunately, as days went on and I did more ayahuasca, the medicine showed me how to heal it more and more. And made it easier and less intense because it takes you deeper. Ayahuasca takes you deeper into your body so that you can know what's going on, because we tend to numb out without realizing it. And then we are disconnected from our body, even though we all know from Dr. Bessel van der Kolk that the body keeps the score. So I am aware that there is a lot more trauma in me than I ever thought. I think this is the case for a lot of people. I'm able to function and do a lot of things really well, but I know that each time I connect with one of these parts, there is something quite honestly phenomenal and magical going on. And it's powerful, it's simple. I am walking through a template where I am both facilitating as Tracy, the adult self, holding space for the part, and also allowing the part to be known and speak. And that in itself is an interesting dance, because usually there's a facilitator, you're receiving the facilitator's directions, you're responding. And so I'm just learning as I go. So the part that we're going to explore tonight is a very interesting one. And I don't mean to be a weirdo. I never do. But I mean to be authentic. And the part that we are exploring is a part of me that I have come to recognize that feels dead, which is very strange. Because all I had to do, and I encourage you to do this as well, is ask myself, what are the different parts that are there that need healing? And when you ask, it's amazing how they will answer. And one of the parts basically said, I do. I am the dead one. I was like, the dead one? And it was just one of those moments of like, and this is part of internal family systems. Don't question what your internal family of parts are telling you. Go with it. They're there for you. So it's like, okay, there's a part called the dead one. And I knew there were different parts, like the scared one and the indecisive one, all this stuff. But I didn't know there was a part called the dead one. And I'm ready to explore that part and what it's all about and what's going on with it and what there is to be done, if anything. And so we're going to go into this process. I'm going to put on a eye cover so that I can really go inward and connect with this part. And at a certain point, that part will come forward, begin a dialogue with it, and begin a healing and a transformation. Most of the time, I can get that done in one session, but depending on the part, and including if it is a protector part versus an exile, where the parts are protecting the exiled, injured part, a different part, sometimes that can take more than one session, and I'll put it over 2 or 3 sessions. My goal is to connect with the dead part, and hopefully it's just this one session. And if not, if it needs more, I will put it into a couple of parts. I'll put the parts in a couple of parts. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put this on, and here we go. Okay, I would like to call forth the part of myself that has identified itself as the dead one. I know that you exist because I asked the group of parts, all of you who was there and who needed attention. And a couple weeks back, the dead one said, "I'm here and I'm needing attention." So I would really like to call forth the part of me that has identified itself as the dead one. And I am just inviting you to make yourself present, to let me know that you're here. And I want to just let you know that it's a safe space, that it's a moment where it's about you and your needs. And giving you the attention that you deserve. And I would really like you to come forward. And I would like to let any of the protector parts that may be protecting this part of me to know that this is a safe space. And if this is a protector part, please come forward. If this is an exiled part, please do come forward. And let me know that you're here. And I feel like this part is sort of in this area, this chest area, sort of making itself known that it's here. It lives in my, like, my chest cavity, including my heart. I just felt it arrive and make itself known to me. And I would really like to invite this part to come all the way forward. I would like to recognize that although you may identify as being dead or feeling dead, that I really want to know you. Yeah, so it's like sitting right here. Okay. Okay. Just want to thank you for coming forward and sharing yourself with me. In assessing how I feel about you, this part, I would say that I feel I feel burdened by you, and I also have a strong sense that, like all parts, you've been doing something very important for me. And I just want to be honest that I feel some sort of a burden toward you because I really, really want to be alive completely. How else do I feel about you? I guess I just feel grief that you feel dead, that you are dead. I'm not sure which it is. And I feel a bit confused about how I could be someone that loves to love life and wants to be so alive, and why this part is there and what you're doing. What role are you playing in my life? What role are you playing in this internal family? Just saying I'm the dead one. I'm the dead one. Okay. Um, I would like to be able to get a little bit closer to you and know you a bit better, if you will allow that. Is that okay? What's happening right now is that this part is like sending all the protectors away. Like they were kind of like going to come and protect it, but they're like telling him, just stay back. So I think this part really wants this connection with me. Okay. Right now, as I connect with the part, looking to see like a visual and where it is, it just feels like it's like this teeny little embryo. This almost little like lima bean, like floating in some fluid. It's like as if you could like see it like on a sonogram. And I'm just moving closer to it, like peering in to see it. Doesn't really appear to be like moving. And what I would like to ask it, what I want to ask you, is about your role and why you are in this role in my life, why you're here. Just keep saying, I'm the dead one. I'm the dead one. Okay. Can you tell me more about your role in my life? Your role in general? And it's just saying, I'm the one who died for you. I'm the dead one. Okay. And I just want to understand more about why you began to play this role, why you do it, when you started it. This part is saying, I begin to play the role of the dead one so you could live. Okay, and when did you start to play this role? I'm getting that it's telling me when we were in utero, when we were in utero, when we were in the womb, my mother's womb. Okay. And it's saying I was about 6 months in the womb. It's saying we were 6 months. Okay. So we were a we. So was I 6 months or were we 6 months? saying you were 6 months and we were 6 months. Okay, so if I'm to understand, you've been in this role since I and we were 6 months in our mother's womb. It's just nodding, saying that's correct. Okay, I'm just taking a moment to understand. So, what happened that caused you to play this role and take on this role as the dead one? What's good is it's responding pretty quickly. It's saying, we were twins and we were both growing inside of our mother. And it was a very stressful environment. Inside our mother, we were both experiencing a lot of stress, it's telling me. It's just basically telling me like consistent stuff here. Our mother was very young. There was a lot of stress. It's saying it was a very unhealthy environment for both of us. There was not enough nourishment for both of us. Okay. I'm just taking a moment to take this in. This is all new to me. Can you just tell me more about your experience and your role and why you became the dead one? Saying again, they're both of us, and our mother was very young. Lots of stress. But at least we were together. And that even before that, it's telling me it just knew its job from very early on was to make sure that I was okay. and that it felt like it understood what was happening to us more than I did. It's just going like this. It's just going consistently. It understood that, so it was trying to assess how we were going to make it out alive. All right, I'm taking this in. Thank you for telling me this. I would like to understand more about your experience and why you are in this role and how you became the dead one. Can you tell me more? It's saying that it was assessing that there wasn't enough nourishment for both of us. And that there was a good chance that either we might not make it or that we would be very sickly, very weak, and we might not make it. It's just going off. It's going very fast, like it's been wanting to tell me this for a very long time. Just like unloading. It's saying that it knew that we might be born deformed, very weak, and with different issues that we might not overcome if both of us continued on. And it felt like it was supposed to take care of me. And that it was just assessing what it could do to help me. It's saying it's basically saying you were not understanding what was happening to us and you were kind of oblivious to it, but I could see that things were not going to go well unless I did something. Okay. Tell me more about what happened. Saying I realized it's slowing down its way of talking now. I realized that if I died, then you could get all the nourishment that was there. including nourishment from what remained of. Okay, so this part is saying, I'm just trying to come to terms with this. It's saying, I knew that if I died, that not only would you be able to have more nourishment, but you would also be able to have the nourishment of me, my body, and you would make it out into the world, and you would be very strong, powerful. And instead of both of us being sick and uh, having having problems or defects, having weaknesses, that at least one of us would get to live a life that was powerful and strong. And one of us would live our highest purpose. Okay. I'm just taking this in, and I want to thank you for telling me this. I'm just coming to terms with this, 'cause I just want to understand more of your role and more about why you chose this role or why you created this role. I want to acknowledge you for it. I would just invite you to share more with me. I have moved more toward this part, and while it's like in the kind of shape of an embryo, it also is like kind of lit up and showing me this person, but it's in this like kind of glowy like structure, like this frequency, and I'm just sitting next to her. So it's just taking a moment. So it's letting me know that when it was the 6-month mark, and it just knew it had to make a decision. It really, from everything it could tell from the amount of nourishment we were able to get in the womb for the two of us, that it had to come up with a solution. While it was more aware of what was happening and I was more oblivious, it could see that I was the stronger of the two of us, and that it started to assess that I had a better chance of living if it let me go forward on my own. Can you tell me more about what you were thinking and what you were doing? It says that I had to come up with a solution so that the most powerful of us could go forward and bring our purpose into the world. uh, it's saying that it could see that because our mom was so very stressed, that our environment was very stressed, and that it could see that our parents could not handle two of us. Okay, tell me more. It, this part is starting to get pretty sad. I realized that I could just give up trying to live, and I could die, and you would have all the nourishment to yourself. And then there'd only be one of us for our mom and dad to take care of. And that would be easier on everyone. Our parents were very young. Okay, and so how did that all happen? What happened? Um, I'm listening. It's saying it could see that while we were twins, that we were also different, and that my name, it's saying your name was going to be Tracy, and it's saying no, your name was going to be Tracy Elizabeth, powerful warrior, messenger of God. And that you were going to be more of a warrior, powerful one. And my name was to be Tristan Danielle. which means melancholy, and God is my judge. Okay. Okay. How did you know this? Uh, Because we are already born with our design, and our name comes through our design, and our purpose is encoded, and we each have a purpose, and for some it's a longer, more prominent one, and for some we are living a purpose in the shadows. I'm hearing you, and I want to acknowledge you. I'm just taking a moment to really understand what you're telling me, because I have been feeling grief my entire life since I was a little baby. Deep, deep grief, and I am trying to understand if this is why. Like, I thought I knew why. So tell me more about your role then as the dead one and what it is. My role. It's like this now. My role was to give up on life, to let go, and to let you live. And thrive and be born without issues that you might not overcome. And since all of us have a purpose, I could feel that this was my purpose. Okay? So, what happened? So, in that time frame, I gave up, and uh, I was gone. I wasn't going to be a full human being, but I've still been watching over you. And I thought that things were going to be better because I got absorbed into you, and I felt like you could take me with you. Okay? happened from there? Once that happened, you seem to become very distressed that I wasn't there and our hearts were not beating together anymore. And my plan for you to know that you were loved and cared for and that I was giving my life to you didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to go. Okay, what happened? Can you tell me more? Can you tell me about your role? Is there anything else that I should know? A couple of weeks after I let myself die, and our hearts were not beating together anymore, and you were getting more and more distressed, it seemed like you were very uncomfortable being in there without me alive. And you seemed to be trying to get out. And even though there were months to go for you to grow and get bigger and stronger, it, you fought really hard to get out of your mother. Okay. I'm trying to understand that if you died, how are you also like knowing this? Because even though I am not in human form, I was with you all the way and I've always been with you. There were two of us, and you absorbed me into you. And that is why you have always been very strong and warrior like, but also very sad and grieving. So help me understand what this role is. Something happened when I died, and you went forward to live the life for both of us. And it's like you've been living a life of two people in one body, because even though I wanted to give my life to you, I also wanted to go forward on the journey with you so that you were not alone. So what is your role at this point? My role is the dead one. But it's not so that you feel dead inside and you feel full of grief. I have been trying this whole time for you to know that you have a sister who loves you and who gave her life for you to be stronger and to be more powerful and to live out the purpose that we were going to live together, until I realized that my purpose was much shorter, much simpler. And my purpose was to value your life so much that I gave my life to you. So your life could be everything it was supposed to be. What else should I know about this role that you are in and how it works and what it's supposed to do? Saying, I've been trying in my own way to let you know that I am here with you, and that no matter what happened after that, that at the earliest points of your journey, that I saw you for who you are, and I loved you so much that I wanted you to live. And that's all I wanted to make sure of. But somehow, because I've been so sad not getting to be alive with you. That I feel that I made you sad. And I'm sorry for that. But I didn't want to leave you completely because I saw that when our hearts stopped beating together, it seemed like you were going to die without me. So I stuck by you, even though I've been dead all this time. The part is really breaking down in tears. It's like slumped over, like it finally got to tell me. Now it's like slumped over, like exhausted. I want to. Well, first, is there anything else that I should know? Saying that I've been trying to stay with you so you wouldn't be alone. But I cannot be the dead one anymore. And I can see that it's hurting you for me to stay in this role. Yes. I really want to acknowledge you for this role that you've played in my life. I really want to honor you. I want to acknowledge you. I'm trying to come to terms with what I'm being given here. I want to honor and acknowledge you for your role. I want to thank you for all that you've done for me. I want to tell you how grateful I am that when you saw that things were not going well, that you tried to do something for me. And I'm in awe of that because so much of my life, when I've said that I'm not doing well, it's not been responded to well by our family. And I'm just like trying to come to terms with like that you were my twin, my partner. Makes sense because Thomas, the word Thomas means twin. And that I actually had a sister. Because all I've ever wanted in my life was to have a sibling and a family that I'm close to and to have a partner. But it didn't really feel like completely like just like a romantic partner. It just felt like there was somebody supposed to be there that wasn't there. And I want to just acknowledge you for giving your life to me. And I want to tell you that while you may have been living in this same place from when we were 6 months, that I am a full-fledged adult, that I did make it out, that I did fight through being this premature baby, teeny tiny thing. And thanks to you, I guess at this point, like I'm getting this, like, thanks to you, I did become very, very strong for such a petite female. And I guess you know all this if you've been here the whole time, but I just want to say that I am an adult. I can handle all of this that you're letting me know. I am a wise person that can manage things, handle things, and lead my life. And that with every amount of respect and dignity that I can give you for this role you've been playing as the dead one who died for me and has kept watch over me and stayed with me, I want you to know that I can take care of things and I can be okay if you're not in this role, because I want to just understand if there are what you think are like, what are the fears if you're not in this role anymore? Are there any concerns if you're not in this role? Like what would happen? She's saying that she used to be concerned that I would not be as strong if she didn't stay in this role and carry on as this being that gave up her life for me. But now she knows that this is not what's good for me, for Tracy. And again, she doesn't want to be the dead one anymore. What I would like to understand is if there are any other burdens that you would like to release. Is there anything else that you want to let go of? Oh, it just got really warm. She's saying that she's carrying a million burdens that she does not want to talk about. It makes her overwhelmed. And it makes her die all over again. Oh my God. And that she would like to change her role. She's saying that she has been aware that I've been helping the other parts of me through this process of transformation. So she's like answering questions before I even ask them. She's saying that she wants a new role. And that she wants to give all those burdens up to God to watch over me and our family and our entire human family. And that she would like a different role and a different destiny. And that if I can do all this support of transforming other people, that she wants a chance to transform as well. She's just like gabbing. She's definitely my twin. So, tell me about the role you would like to have now. And she's saying that I would first like to have a new name. Okay? Saying that with a new name is a new identity and a new reality. She's definitely my twin. She says that she would like to live. She would like to thrive. She would like to be known. And not because she needs attention, but because that when we were created together for a mission. And we're the Thomas girls. And I'm I'm very aware of that. I know we have a mission. So do you have a sense of the name and what your mission, your purpose is? What role you'd like to play? She's like nodding her head a lot. She's smiling. And now she's like kind of dancing around. And like she's like getting kind of silly. Like she's like kind of coming over to me like, you want me to tell you what my name is? And she's like doing like this, like a drum roll. Like drum roll. And she says, my name, my new name is Mogul. My name is Mogul. She's laughing. She's saying, my name is Mogul. I'm not Tristan anymore. I'm not sad or melancholy. My name is Mogul. And I am powerful, successful, healthy, wealthy, and influential. This is what this is all about, okay? Okay, I'm getting this. For a few years now, everything has been mogul, 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 like in my face, in my, just everywhere. Oh my God. Okay, so that you're telling me this was you this whole time. I am stunned. I'm like in awe. You're mogul. Okay. And so now she's like gone from this little embryo, and I keep seeing her just like growing more and more into a human self. And then she was like moving around, dancing around, and now she's just like, I am a mogul. And she's like, I'm moguling. Hashtag mogul. And what is your role, mogul? What do you want your role to be? Because we're leaving the dead one behind, and what do you want the mogul role to be? She's saying, I want to lead a mission of helping people become powerful, healthy, successful, influential, and beneficial to the world. And I want to lead the mission and the movement that I was born to do. And she's saying, maybe I can't be alive in a real full human body, but that I can help people around the world who feel dead inside, who feel dead and like giving up, and like there is no point, and like they have to kill themselves because they love people. I want to help them come alive and be powerful and purposeful and spiritual and wealthy in material levels. She's saying, yeah, that too. I want to be a part of helping people all over the world become empowered moguls. And I want my life to matter. And I want to do what I was supposed to do, which was to help my sister change the world for the better because we were supposed to do it together. I want to be my sister's partner. And that's why I've been trying to tell her for years to help people become like a mogul so they can come alive and become powerful and live their purpose with their families and their communities and create a better world together. She's just really going and going and going. She's definitely my twin. I want you to know that I hear you, that this moment of my life is like one of the most amazing moments that I could ever imagine. That all the pieces of my life are making sense to me. I understand that you have been trying to do everything to help me bring this powerful mogul identity to people. And I want to tell you that I 100% support you in your new role. I feel you with me, but I feel you as a mogul. I'm so excited for you and for us because I don't feel I I I can feel that you're powerful. All the sadness and loneliness that I have felt, like I don't feel that right now, and I feel like I just want to encourage you in your new role and tell you, I mean, I think you probably already know this because you're internally with me, but the company as it was named, the Empire Company, is now that I'm in Dubai is now named the International Moguls Club, and I just have to change the website. And I want you to know that you're you've been so influential And I'm just like, okay, mogul. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm following this mogul program. And I think it's amazing. And I want you to know that I'm here to support you in this role as a mogul. I'm so glad that it's all over the company and the content, and that it's such a amazing word and name and identity, and that it's so powerful. I want you to know that I'm here with you. I'm aware of you. I'm really grateful that you're transforming so fast, and it doesn't surprise me because you're my twin. And I promise to just adjust to this because this is a lot to take in. But I'm going to be connected with you and checked in with you and know that we're living out a mission that we were born to do. The mogul mission. And I'm just kind of in awe because it's like the name Tracy is like warrior, powerful one. And like I feel like the name mogul is like another version of that. And I just think it's incredible that we can also transform by changing our name. Is there any last things you want to tell me right now about this new role so I can support you in it? You're saying this is it for right now because this has been a lot for me to tell you all of this. But it sure feels good to be alive and to finally be my true self that I always wanted to be because I didn't want to be the dead one. She's saying, I'm here to support this mission. And right now, I just need to adjust and adapt to this new role and this new life and being given permission to live it. And I want us to create together. And I do want to make sure that we are connected. And right now, this is enough for me, and I need to come and rest. And I want to be with you and rest in peace. Okay, so I'm inviting you into the present moment. So we can rest. And right now, what I'm doing is just linking arms with her. She is definitely full grown at this point, and we're walking along the beach together, which is right near my home here. And we are walking and we're taking steps to come into the building and into my home. And she is going into the bedroom and laying down and relaxing. Hi, moguls. I'm just checking in, having done that session with myself, and I'm just wanting to wrap this up with you, all honoring what I've just experienced, which is maybe the most transformative information I've ever gotten. This is the power of internal family systems and what it can do for you. And I'm going to grab my dog, TJ. Come here, baby. And where it can lead you. My whole life is kind of making sense at this point. And it goes hand in hand with a acupuncture session I had at one point with a doctor. And after a few sessions, she said to me, I think you have vanishing twin syndrome. And I eventually looked that up. She said, and it was basically when you have a twin die in utero. And there's if you look up vanishing twin syndrome, there's all these different symptoms that the living twin has. And I had like all of them. And it makes a lot of sense because my mom gained like 65 pounds. And then I was born, it was only 3 pounds. So it makes sense that there were twins. I'm kind of in awe and shock that that's who the dead one is. But what I want to encourage you to do with this internal family systems process is simply to ask yourself, what parts of ourselves need support? And they're going to start answering you. I didn't know what the dead one was. I didn't get it, but I'm not here to question it. I'm here to be in connection with my internal parts in a relationship with myself that I can keep upgrading, healing, growing, and transforming. Because when we transform our internal parts and give them the opportunity to be in a new purpose, in a new era, in a new time, we go from an old dysfunctional internal family system to a new highly functioning internal family system that I want to call the dynasty system. I am feeling so many things that is the power of internal family systems. I feel light. I don't feel the grief I've carried my whole life. I don't feel sad. I don't feel alone. I feel like this amazing part of me that was actually a full person is here with me in a new form. And I see why for years everything has been about moguling, becoming your most powerful self, and that this part of myself was doing everything it could to emerge and come into a new role and live out its destiny. And I really want to encourage you all to know that it's not just a you and your mind that are trying to transform, that there are all these parts in you that are looking to upgrade and transform. And that's why I'm doing these sessions. I'm doing the content and the videos and the transformational everything that I do. And I'm really inviting you to tune in, to make the upgrades, to connect with your parts. And if all of this resonates with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel so I know that you want to see more of this so you can transform too. Thank you for tuning in, moguls, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.